Do you know that what is the role of making it in a maintenance mode?
Yeah, like when you are doing, for example, a deployment, do a
Right.
deployment
And the
or
other
an
aspect is
upgrade.
that, right, for any upgrade, for any implementation, or changing anything which is dimension related. So, if you want to change or alter any dimension of the organization, then you have to bring it in a maintenance mode. This task includes participating in and facilitating in reviews with the team to ensure that implementation is meet the architect. In addition to conducting reviews with the customer to ensure that the solution is meeting their needs. So delivering a solution and customer meet requirement mapping is one of your key role. The solution architect is also instrumental in problem solving because the challenge will often span multiple teams, and the solution architect is one of the few people who understand all the moving part across the team. When we say about all the moving part across the team, what do you think that what this phrase says? All the moving part across the team. Don't hesitate to say that no idea. Don't worry. When we say that all the moving part across the team, that you may have a developer, you may have a report writer, you may have a functional team member. So you are the one who actually know that who is doing what at this time, so that like a functional is changing a configuration, whether a developer is doing some development on the same module and functional changes the configuration, now the development is not working properly, so you are the one who actually have to know that which team member is doing what, so that those will going to be in sync. I have a similar problem with me, that one of my developer is doing development on one particular module, and similar way one of my functional have a requirement to make the requirement mandatory. They change the configuration part, and have, okay, this my problem is solved, but developer is developing something on the same module, and now his delivery is not working. So he came to know that okay, some changes made in the configuration. So I let him know that okay, this is the change we made on the functional part. Now it is going to be a fix for this customer. So you have to change your delivery as per the requirement. This is all the moving part across the team. The solution architect will work with the quality assurance team to ensure that the testing that is performed exercise all part of architect, including disaster recovery and performance testing. Also, change management is still at the top of the list activity because increasing scope during implementation can give a negative impact on the success of a project. Have you faced this change management? As you are on a customer side, you know that most of the time you deliver something, and while after delivering, now requirement get changed.
Yep.
So this is how we have to handle it, because any change management is always give you a negative impact of a delivery. So this is to overcome all these things, you have to reduce the change management and be strict on the part that change management will not happen. If it is happen, then it should be move the entire project on a different direction. Then your role is on delivery side too, as a project team moves closer to handling of all the part of solution. A delivery team is typically put in place. So once any delivery is come, then you should be on the delivery side too, that this particular delivery is as per the requirement or not. This team might consist of a virtual team of participants from all teams of the project. The solution architect is involved in the helping the team build development team and validate the plan. Regarding the implementation phase, the solution architect is often best positions of triggering problems and arise during development. The solution architect might also participate in advising the business on a go or no go decision. So once we talk about delivery, it is important role. Then comes to the operation part, which is your last part. As the system moves into production and then into daily operation, a solution architect won't have a lot to deal with until enhancements are made that need design or bug are found that must be fixed. So once project is delivered, you can be on relax mode until unless it's found to be a bug or any enhancement required. Pillar of a great architect. The cloud has changed how business applications for organization are designed and implemented. As a result, solution architect can now be pulled together from one or more SaaS services that are working together to form a complete solution. In solving customers' business problem, solution architects should be comfortable using the following services to build their overall solution. We talk about all these things in a very first slide. Dynamics 365, Microsoft 365, app sources extended with Microsoft Power Platform, Microsoft Azure. You might not think that Microsoft 365 may take an important role in your D365, or an app can have a good role in your D365 environment. But it is like, if you can send a mail using your Exchange services, then why you required to develop it in your D365? That's an example. Similarly, your Power Platform can do a routine job for you, like Automate or anything. Power Automate will trigger something for you automatically, which required manual intervention. So you can trigger it through Power Automate. That's how you have to showcase everything. Azure is also one of key aspect that lots of things are now comes in Azure platform, which is associated with your D365. So that comes from there itself. Do you have this backend access of your project, SQL access?
In what do you mean?
Do you have SQL access of your project?
No, no. Well, my developer VM, I do
In
have
developer VM, you
SQL.
can have SQL access, but not in on the live. So how do you handle that thing?
Well, I'll do it through the data lake if I want to.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do it through the data lake.
Do you know there is a license for accessing the data too? So
Oh,
you can do
really?
it. Yeah, it's really that's what I ask a
Oh, wait.
specific question.
Okay. So, is that access read only or is it read and write?
There are certain relationships, but it is read and write too. You
Okay.
cannot bypass the relationship, but you can do whatever you have access in your development environment. Same access you can have on live environment too, but the license is
Okay.
required.
Okay, because yeah, that's very interesting because we are in the project which I'm working on, we are actually doing some data migration, and that came up as a problem. So there's one of the systems which we're migrating data from, and it's kind of like taking a very long time. Okay, so they're still doing, we're mostly doing um, UAT testing.
Even you have Excel plugins which you can easily use for your data migration.
Yeah, that so we also use the Excel plugin, but it's kind of like slow. So it's kind of like slow. So let's say we're trying to post general ledger entries. The experience which we've had with the Excel plugin is like when we're trying to upload data, if you try in one chunk to kind of like upload more than 15,000 records while uploading to the general ledger, it tends to be extremely slow. Like anything above 15,000 ends up by crashing, or we have some problem.
Right,
Uh,
right.
yeah, so the customer is kind of like concerned. We are staying in UAT. They're kind of like concerned that when we are going to be doing the actual production migration, they're kind of like concerned with the timeline. So that was a question which popped up. Like they were wondering if we could somehow go about the migration in a different way, like direct SQL access. So their thinking is, well, this is not from the client. Well, of course, the client is asking us, like, what if so, how we can make the whole process to be a little bit faster. What I was thinking, the first thing which came to my head was that, okay, maybe we could do it directly with SQL access. Of course, you would have to know exactly which tables in Dynamics to touch if you're trying to do inserts and so on, because of all the validations and so on. You have to deal with all of that
Right.
complexity,
Right.
but we're trying to see if that's even possible. Yeah. So that's kind of like interesting to know that there is a way to. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Design a great business application solution. While one single blueprint does not exist for illustrating what a great business application should solution architect look like, certain concept will apply regardless of the unique customer challenges that you are solving. While the following sections do not provide a complete list, focusing on these concepts will help you to build a better solution.